Occupational diseases. This is the second hazards under the classification of occupational hazard. Usually, occupational diseases or generally diseases are preventable. A misdiagnosis means a lost opportunity for meaningful clinical intervention. From economic perspective, the failure to prevent occupational diseases results unnecessarily health care. Recent progress in the field of occupational and environmental medicine has led to a better strategy for recognizing a wide variety of work-related illness. The meaning of disease. Uh, our topic is occupational diseases, but before going to talk about occupational diseases, then I need to discuss the meaning of diseases. The disease is a disorder of structure or function in a human or plant. Disease is a disorder of structure in a human or plant, or disorder of function in a human or plant, especially on the produce specific symptoms or that affect a specific location and is not simply a direct result of physical injuries. Physical injuries mean accidents. Disease is any harmful deviation from the normal structure or functional state of an organism, generally associated with certain signs and symptoms and differing in nature from physical injury. It is a harmful deviation from the normal structure or function of a human behavior or human. Then human disease is an damage of the normal state of a human being that interrupts or modifies its vital functions. In this, here mentioned damage, not the positive thing. This is a negative thing. Then human disease is an negative thing of negative effect for normal state of human being. This picture illustrates the diseases in the world at 2017. 56 million people died in 2017. Among them, 17.79 million were related to cardiovascular diseases, heart that are the leading causes of global death. The second biggest causes are cancer. 9.56 million people die as a result of cancer. 3.91 million of people die as a cause of respiratory diseases, and as a cause, lower respiratory infections. 2.56 million of people was died. When compared with the developed countries and developing countries, or rich country and the poor country, then we can find we can come to the conclusion about the diseases of the people. Then causes of death vary significantly between countries. Non-communicable diseases domain in rich countries. whereas infectious diseases remain high at lower income countries. බොහෝ නොවන රෝග dominate කරනවා rich countries. ඒ වගේම බොහෝ වන රෝග remain කියන්නේ වැඩි වශයෙන් දකින්න පුළුවන් වෙන්නේ lower income countries. Few people die at a younger age. When compared with the younger age, there are less number of deaths because of the occupation, because of the diseases. Almost half of all people who dies at 70 years and older. The leading risk factors premature death globally include high blood pressure, smoking, obesity, high blood sugar, and environmental risks. Then environmental risk factors including air pollution. Very familiar disease is a COVID-19. Then COVID-19 as a disease. Coronavirus disease or COVID-19 is an infectious disease caused by a newly discovered coronavirus. Most people infected with the COVID-19 virus will experience mild to moderate respiratory illness and recover without requiring special treatment. Then coronavirus directly linked with the respiratory illness. Older people and those who underline medical problems like cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, chronic respiratory diseases, and cancer are more likely to develop serious illness because of COVID-19. Then come to get the idea about occupational diseases. Then occupational diseases and occupational disease is any disease contracted primarily as a result of an exposure to risk factor rising from the work activity. According to this definition, occupational diseases is kind of diseases relating to the work activities or the organizational activities, job-related diseases. Work-related diseases have multiple causes. There are factors in work environment. Then work environment is a sample of the general society. Therefore, as a sample of general society, there are different multiple causes for the employee health damage. Then work environment may play a role together with other risk factors in the development of such diseases. An occupational disease is taken to mean any illness due exclusively or predominantly the harmful substance or certain tasks at work and other illness, which prove to have been caused exclusively or very predominantly by an exercise of an occupation. Then it is clear there are different diseases in this general society. But when we are going to define occupational diseases, it means the diseases are the main causes for the diseases are the organizational activity or the occupation. Then we will see what are the causes of diseases. As Sources in 2009, there are four main causes of occupational diseases: chemical causes, biological causes, physical causes, and psychological causes. Then chemical causes. Chemicals are used extensively both in industry as well as in our daily lives. Many useful products are derived from chemicals such as plastic, paints, pharmaceutical item, detergent item. Those are useful products. Some chemical may appear harmless but can result in injury upon the contact. Some adverse health effect develop only after long time exposures to the human body. Then chemical agents account for 41 of occupational diseases that are caused by exposed to agent from work activities. The wide range of both naturally occurring and synthetic chemical compound that can give rise to adverse health effects can be roughly organized into four major categories. This is roughly four major categories: gases, metals, organic compounds, and dust. Common example including sulfur dioxide, chlorine, chlorine, which have pungent odors and can irritate the eyes and respiratory tracts. For example, when we are concerning gases, sulfur dioxide, chlorine, those are the gases irritate our eyes. බොහෝ වෙලාවට මේවයින් අස්සලට බලපෑම් ඇති වෙන්න පුළුවන් කියලා කියනවා. And metal and their compound are among the poisons most commonly encountered in the workplace. Mercury poisoning is one of the classical occupational diseases. Organic compounds. The organic compounds that pose the greatest occupational hazards are various aromatic, aliphatic, and halogenated hydrocarbon. The inhalation of a variety of dust is responsible for a number of lung and respiratory disorders. Biological causes. Work-related exposure to biological agents may be associated with several health issues, health problems, including infectious diseases, cancer, and allergies. Workers in certain sectors such as healthcare and veterinary services, agriculture, sewage management, and laboratories are particularly at risk. Biological agents include bacteria, virus, fungi, other microorganisms, and their associated toxins. They have the ability to adversely affect human health in a variety of the ways. Then physical causes, temperature, noise, heat, lights, Other example for physical causes of occupational diseases. When working in a hot environment, humans maintain normally body temperature by perspiring and surface of the body. When we are working in a hot environment, then it creates perspiring and surface of the body. ඇගේ දහඩිය දැමීම සහ ඇඟ මතු පිට යම් යම් බලපෑම් ඇති වෙන්න පුළුවන් කියලා කියන. The large amount of water and salt lost in perspirations then need to be replaced. දහඩිය දානකොට ගොඩාක් දහඩිය දානවා නම් අපේ ඇඟ ඇතුළට අපට ආපහු වතුර ලබා දීමක් සිද්ධ කරන්න වෙනවා. Then work in a cold environment may also have serious adverse effect. Not only the hot environment, cold environment also making different issues relating to our health. Decompression sickness can result from exposed to high or low atmosphere's pressure. Exposed to excessive noise can be unpleasant and can reduce working efficiency. Temporary or permanent hearing loss may also occur depending on the loudness or intensity of the noise. Whole body vibration is experienced in surface and their transport with motion sickness. It is most familiar effect when we are concerning vibration. A more serious disorder, harm known as Raynaud's syndrome or vibratory wild finger can result from the extensive use of vibratory hand tools. Deafness, irritability, aggressiveness, and communication barriers are examples for diseases from physical causes. Then psychological causes. The working environment and the nature of work itself are both important influences on the health and well-being of working people. There is strong and growth evidence to indicate an association between work-related health complaint and exposures to psychological hazards or an interaction between physical and psychological hazards to a wide array of health outcomes for the individual workers and the organization. Boredom, monotony, frustration, fear, shocks are some causes for psychological occupational disorders. Job most at risk for occupational diseases. Studies have shown that 4% to 10% of all cancers in the United States are caused by work exposures. According to Central of Disease Control and Prevention, more than 13 million Americans are exposed to chemical at work, which can be absorbed through the skin. Knowing this kind of jobs that pose an increased risk of occupational diseases can help you take preventive steps to protect your health. Following occupations are more likely to expose to the different diseases. Miners. Any job that involving mining, drilling, or blasting through the earth can expose you to harmful dust that can cause diseases. Coal miners are also at risk of developing black lung diseases. The second one, construction workers. Construction workers who work with concrete, cement, insulations, drywall products, sanding or drilling tools are also at risk of diseases. Construction workers also at risk due to exposure to wood dust. Chemical fumes are also hazardous substance that put construction workers at risk. Another serious exposure is asbestos. Construction workers who work on older buildings may come into contact with asbestos, which can cause asbestosis. Welders. The process of welding involves working with molten metal that produce toxic fumes. විෂ දුම් ඇති වෙන්න පුළුවන් කියලා කියනවා. Symptoms that should concern welder including coughing, wheezing, shortness of breath, and dizziness. කියන්නේ වෙනම කැස්ස, හුස්ම හිරවීම, හුස්ම ගැනීම, කෙටිවීම, කරකැවිල්ල වගේ ලෙඩ රෝග ඇති වෙන්න පුළුවන් කියලා කියනවා. Farm or grain workers. Workers who work in harvested grain and crops could be at risk of developing farmer's lung. Farmer's lung is an allergic disease caused by mold, spores, or bacteria found in crops, especially hay. දැන් workersලා harvest එකත් එක්ක ධාන්‍ය සමග ගනුදෙනු කරන workersලට ඇති වෙන්න පුළුවන් ආසාදනයන් තමයි ආසාත්මික රෝගයන් විදියට විවිධ රෝග ඇති වෙන්න පුළුවන් හේතු විදියට පුස් බීජාණු වගේ දේවල් බැක්ටීරියා වගේ දේවල් මේකට බලපෑම් කරන්න පුළුවන්. Then cotton, flax, or hemp workers exposed to dust from unprocessed cotton, flax, or hemp can cause a lung diseases called bichinosis or brown lungs. Workers exposed to diesel fumes. Diesel fumes can cause lung cancer and increase the risk of heart and respiratory diseases. The workers exposed to noise, working around noisy machinery and tool puts you at risk for one of most common job-related health problems, hearing loss. Healthcare workers. Healthcare workers are exposed to countless diseases and illnesses at their job. Medical professionals can face threat of tuberculosis and bloodborne diseases. Health medical professionals ලා බොහෝ වෙලාවට මේ ක්ෂය රෝගයේ ලේ වැගිරීම වගේ රෝගී තත්ත්වයන්ට ලේ වලින් බෝ වෙන රෝගී තත්ත්වයන්ට ගොදුරු වීමේ හැකියාව තියෙනවා කියලා කියනවා. Okay, now I think you have some idea about occupational diseases and the importance of occupational diseases. Then third hazards, low quality of work life. Quality of work life is the level of enjoyment in a person's life. As Upadhyaya, the quality of work life is the degree to which employee expectations are met by the job and the job environment. The degree to which employee expectations are met by the job and the job environment. Dissatisfaction with working life affect the workers regardless of position or status when we are concerned in the organization. Regardless of position and the status, dissatisfaction is the main cause for workers' ineffectiveness and lack of progress of their career path. The frustration, boredoms, and anger are common to employee that can be costly to both individual and the organization. Once a person's basic needs are met, that person's quality of life is largely determined by their own personality, their desires, and their level of personal fulfillment. Then the basic need are important. Therefore, after completing or after fulfilling our basic need, then we are thinking about our quality of life. Quality of life. A person without quality of life is lacking in one or several basic areas of his life. For example, the very ill or those who are not longer able to care for themselves or do activities they enjoy because of physical, mental, or financial restrictions are often said to have a low quality of life. Then major sources of low quality of work life. What are the major sources of low quality of work life? Hectic work schedules or busyness, poor staffing, lack of autonomy in decisions, activities out of job description, lack of professional development of opportunities, inappropriate working environment, inadequate salary, one-way communication, discriminations, different type of discriminations, job insecurity, unchallenging tasks, no opportunity to realize talent. Those are the major sources of low quality of work life. Then the last one, occupational stress. Then occupational stress, it is common topic for all, especially in the modern era. Then what is the meaning of occupational stress? Occupational or workplace stress can be defined as the change in one's physical and mental state in response to workplace that pose an appraised challenge or threat to the employee. Then as in other way, stress has been defined as the challenge in one's physical or mental state in response to situation that pose challenge or threat. As a challenge or threat, then workers' normal behavior, physical or mental behavior. uh, if physical or mental behavior is damaged or deviate or is a situation like difficult to maintain because of challenge or threat. That situation we is called occupational stress. Then occupational stress refer to the ongoing or progressing stress an employee experience due to the responsibility, conditions, environment, or other pressures of the workplace. Ross and Gregory define stress as the external or internal stimulus condition, noxas or depriving, which demand different adjustment. Then different adjustment because of demand. Then what is the way external or internal stimulus අභ්‍යන්තර හා බාහිර උත්තේජකයන් උත්තේජක තත්ත්වයන් stimulus conditions noxus or depriving හානි කරන දේ අහිමි කරන දේවල් then which demand different adjustment then because of those things we have to make another adjustment different adjustment then it is the stress. As Sinbado in 1988, stress is the pattern of specific core, non-specific responses an organism make to stimulus event that disturb its equilibrium. Then equilibrium means usually if we are living with healthy manner, we are maintaining our physical, mental and day-to-day every activities balanced way. If there is an imbalance because of certain thing that is creating a pressure within our body, that is the stress. Then common features of occupational stress. Following are the common features of occupational stress. External causes and internal causes, stimulus events, demands, different adjustment or lack of adjustment between person and environment, disturbing individual equilibrium, physical changes, mental changes, emotional changes. Those are some examples for the causes of occupational stress. Common features of occupational stress. The number of stress you feel in different situations may depend on many factors. Then here mentioned situation or demand, experience, personality, perception. Then situation or demand. Daily we are dealing with different situations or different demands. Some situation or demand are common while others are uncommon. Uncommon and difficult situation or demand make more stress than common situation or demand. The second one, experience. If you are more exposed to the repeated situation, then you can tolerate the stress because of the more experience. However, if you are facing new situation or demand, it will bring more stressful because of the lack of experience. And the third one, personality. Tolerance level of stress depends on your personality. If you have strong personality, then you can tolerate stressful situation easily. Otherwise, your poor personality lead to more stress when coming more demands. The last one, perception. How do you perceive the situation or person or the event? It depends on the ability of perceiving the situation or person or the event. Your right perception lead to low stressfulness and wrong perception make high stress. Then while the source of occupational stress vary from person to person, it is important to know that the employees of the organization, regardless of how big or how small they may be, can be affected by occupational stress. Some major examples of occupational stresses are strict policies and protocols, restriction of professional and personal development, conflict among individuals and groups, mismanagement practices, lack of support from HR department or HR policies, personal, situational, or professional issues, bullying, demeaning, and discriminating. අයිතු බලපෑම් කිරීම වගේ දේවල්, discriminate කිරීම වගේ දේවල්. Poor time management, little to no occupational guidance or direction, especially for the career development, being overworked, performance expectation that for surpass an employee's training and ability. සේවකයාගේ හැකියාවට වඩා වැඩියෙන් යම් කිසි දෙයක් performance වලින් ඉල්ලනවා නම් ඒ වගේ තැන්වලදී regular threat of termination, loss of wage, pay cuts and benefits. Those are some example for occupational stresses. Stress model. According to experts, there are 5 models that explain workplace stress, which are person environment fit model, job characteristic model, diversity model, stress model, job demand resource model, and effort reward imbalance model. Then we will see one by one in very brief way. Person environment fit model. According to this model, a person starts to feel stress in a job where his appetites, skills, abilities, and resources are in line with the necessities of their job. The job profile he is operating in should be in accordance to his need, knowledge, and skill sets. If the needs are not addressed, then it makes these employees misfit in that domain, which results in lagging behind in performance and no meeting management expectations. These employees end up with low productivity, face isolations, and short-term denial as depend mechanisms. Job characteristic model. This model proposes that for an employee to be successful in any job, he needs to have some degree of autonomy, and he should be able to give a feedback. Such condition results in job enrichment and employee loyalty. The absence of these factors can cause work disassociation and drop in productivity. This model also specifies that numerous talented professionals lost their attitude toward the same work that they had once been very interested in and were good at. The main reason behind this was the attitude of the management. Then Darfas's stress model. This model makes a distinction between stressful conditions and individual strongs. Strongs can be mental, physical, emotional, and most of the time, these strongs change from person to person. The significant strongs among them are excessive workload, disagreeable workplace environment, lack of autonomy, difficult relationship with co-workers, lack of career growth, low chances of personal growth while working, and harassment from management. Then job demand resource model. This model posits that workplace stress can be associated to the differences of job demand and the resources. Experience at managerial level, it is caused when a bully management expect managers to deliver high results with low resources. In other way, there is a severely skewed, පැත්තකට ඇලවෙනවා, skewed crucials between job demand and job resources. Even good manager cannot deal with this stress and end of stress. Effort reward imbalance model. This model focuses on the relation between effort and rewards. When employee put in handwork, they expected management to reward their effort. In absence of such rewards program, the employees get demotivated and underperformance. It is not enough in today's world to expect good output from employees as a part of the job. Then companies that think they are entailed to get good output from employee just because they pay them need to realize that is not paying but compensating from them for their time. For example, employees could have done something way more productive with the time they spend in the company. Then we will see the outcomes of occupational stress. Occupational stress may cause physical, mental, and social illness. It is associated with the following: chronic fatigue. Chronic fatigue syndrome is a complicated disorder characterized by extreme fatigue that lasts for a last 6 months and that cannot be fully explained by underlying medical conditions. Disorder eating. Disorder eating can include behavior that reflect many but not all of the symptoms of feeding and eating disorder such as anorexia, ahar aruchiya, binge eating disorder, or other specified feeding and eating disorder. ආහාර අරුචිය එහෙම නැත්නම් අධික ලෙස ආහාර ගැනීම වගේ behaviors ඉදිරිපත් කරන්න පුළුවන් කියලා කියනවා. Headaches. Headaches are more likely to occur when you are stressed. Stress is a common trigger of tension type headaches and migraine and can trigger other type of headaches or make them worse. Increased blood pressure. Stressful situation can cause your blood pressure. Your body produces a sugar hormone when you are in a stressful situation. These hormones temporarily increase your blood pressure by causing your heart to beat faster and your blood vessels to narrow. Increased risks of cardiovascular diseases. Studies suggest that high level of cortisol from long-term stress can increase blood cholesterol and blood sugar as well as blood pressure. These are common risk factors for heart diseases. Emotional exhaustion. Emotional exhaustion is a state of feeling emotionally worn out drain as a result of accumulated stress from your personal or work lives, or a combination of both. Mood disturbance. Chronic stress can lead to mood disorders such as depressions and anxiety, cognitive or thinking problem, personality changes, and behavioral problem. Then see sleeping problems. It is possible that different type of stresses may bring with them different impact on sleep. Lack of concentration. Stress only become dangerous when it lasts for a long period of time. Then the stress hormone cortisol is constantly released and can lead to cell damage on the brain and thus to concentration problem. De- Depressions. Sustained and chronic stress lead to elevated hormones such as cortisol and reduce serotonin in the brain, including dopamine, which has been linked to depressions. Then anxiety. Stress is a common trigger for anxiety, and it is important to catch anxiety symptoms early to prevent development of an anxiety disorder. Suicidal ideas. Although stress is not a disease, it is presence is associated with suicidal thought, depressive symptoms, and anxiety among workers. Okay, it is enough for the basically four type of hazards: occupational accident, occupational diseases, quality of work life, and occupational stress.